I think it's very unfortunate that we have found ourselves in a situation in Nigeria whereby when 1 out of 6 gets killed by kidnappers and 5 persons are released, we say, oh, it's a sweet story. It is a confirmation of the extent of anomy in the land. Nobody should be kidnapped. Nobody in any part of the country should find themselves in a situation whereby kidnappers, bandits, terrorists have developed a thriving economy that is beyond the control or knowledge of the Nigerian state, even when the Nigerian state has knowledge of it. In terms of the criminality involved, it is unable to fulfill its obligation to ensure the security and the welfare of the people. And the narrative by the gentleman there, Mr. Al-Qadiriya, goes further to confirm the position of The Economist magazine in an editorial dated January 18, titled "Kidnappers Wreak Havoc in Nigeria," and that the solutions being pursued by the Tinubu administration are similar to those pursued by the Buhari administration, with a suggestion, of course, that those methods will not work. And it will appear in the view of the editorialists in The Economist that the Nigerian government only seems to worry when the kidnapping gets close to the politicians, as has happened in the Al-Qadiriya family's case, whereby 6 members of the family were abducted in Buhari, which is a suburb of the Federal Capital Territory. And then we also had the case in Sagwaya Estate, where 10 persons were also abducted. There was also the case of an army estate in Abuja, where persons were abducted. Army estate, not a civilian barracks, so army estate, persons were abducted. And of course, the Economist editorial pointed out that on Christmas Eve, close to 200 persons were killed in the Middle Belt. In the southeastern part of the country, about a week ago, 45 persons were abducted. Abductions, kidnappings, terror continue unabated in the northwest and also in the northeast of the country. And the position of The Economist, which many will agree with, is that the Nigerian government is not addressing the key issues. Instead, the issue statements, instead, they are investing more on procurement of hardware, whereas the issues are elsewhere. Addressing the anger of the people, addressing education issues, addressing poverty issues, despite the fact that the provision for defense and security in the 2024 budget is about 12% higher than that of 2023. The Economist says no. With inflation at 29%, it makes no sense because nothing has improved. But even worse is corruption in terms of security spending, with the editorial commenting about security votes and all of that. In other words, the Nigerian government still has a lot to do in terms of making this environment safe. It's not only when there are security issues in Abuja and people just get killed. A member of the Al-Qadiriya family was killed. 2 persons were killed from that estate that I mentioned earlier on. And the kidnappers were demanding 700 million. The bitter part of it, the real part of it, is that these monies are processed, for the most part, through the banking system. And I've seen a report saying that, look, the banking system is part of the problem. Before now in this country, we were told when you align your national identification number with your SIM card, if you make a phone call through it, the calls can be traced. Now, is that working? The answer that many will tell you is that it's not working, particularly in terms of the impact of that particular initiative. So, the major problem remains, as President Tinubu himself had identified on May 29, when he assumed office, security of lives and property in this environment. And the solution, as many have also pointed out, including government officials themselves, is not just about buying hardware, buying Tuscano jets, buying drones. Those drones, in any case, that the Nigerian military officials don't even know how to manage well. You see that drones are dropping, are attacking wrong targets due to failure of intelligence, or aircraft are dropping out of the skies, doing reconnaissance operations. We need to take security of lives and property more seriously, so that we don't continue to have the kind of jeremiad that we have listened to this morning from the Akadria family, with whom we commiserate, but with whom we regrettably say that they face this kind of challenge, others face this kind of challenge, because Nigeria continues to disappoint its people.
This is Chokitablemedia, and I approve this message.